Quick tutorial on how to make these Christmas present Christmas tree ornaments. They whip up really quick and they're a great scrap yarn project. Some of you may be looking at this and saying, I know exactly how to make these. However, I did run into some hiccups when it came to the ribbon, so stick with me and I'll spare you some wasted materials. Things you're going to need for this project are scrap yarn, a crochet hook, a yarn and needle, Elmer's glue, and a hot glue gun will really help make this finish quick. Each of these boxes are made with 6 granny squares using the half double crochet stitch. The bigger ones are 3 rounds and the smaller ones are 2 rounds. After you're done making all of your squares, you want to glue harden all of them. Make sure you squeeze out all of the excess glue and damp them out on a paper towel. This way they don't look like plastic. After you have all the excess glue off of your squares, you're going to lay them out on a piece of parchment paper. I didn't have any, so I'm using aluminum foil. And you're going to let them sit to dry for a good 24 to 48 hours. You can put them in a sunny window, or you can use a hair blow dryer to speed up this process. After they're all dry and you squeezed out the excess glue, they're nice and stiff. They have strength to them, and we can begin to sew them together. Even though they're strong and they're stiff, they still have just enough flexibility to where you can get the yarn and needle through, so you can sew them together in a cube, stitch for stitch around each side. The ribbon is going to be made in 4 parts. The first part, you want to make a chain that goes from the bottom up over the middle and to the bottom of the other side of the cube. After you have the chain the length that you need it to be, you're going to chain 1. That's going to build up the height for our single crochet, and then you're going to do a single crochet in the back bump of the chain all the way down the chain, 1 single crochet for every chain. Once you have that done, you're going to notice there's a front and a back. You want to make sure when you start, you want to have the front facing you and tie on in that corner. And we're going to do the same on the other side with the front facing, tie on in the correct corner. You don't have to make your ribbon 2 different colors, but I think it looks a lot better if you do. And it's best if you use the darker color in the middle and then the lighter color on the outside. So do a single crochet on top of the first row of single crochet, then flip it over, tie on to the corner, and we're going to do a row of single crochet across the top of that. When you're done, you can wrap it over your cube, and you can see if we were to make another ribbon the exact same length and put it on top of this, it would have this layering effect and it would become way too tall and it wouldn't look right. So we have to make different sections. So you're going to want to make another chain that goes from the end of the outside of that ribbon down to the bottom of the cube, just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to chain 1 and then do a single crochet in the back bump of the chain all the way down the chain. And once you have repeated that process, you'll do it for the other side as well. Now to make the bow on top, you want to make a chain that goes across diagonally, place it on top, and then you want the chain to come down about 25% of the way down the top of the cube. That second hole right there is a good gauge. Then you're going to chain 2 because this is going to be done in half double crochet. And in the second chain from the hook, you're going to do a half double crochet, and you're going to do a half double crochet in the back bump of every chain all the way down. After you finish that row of half double crochet, you're going to again notice you have a front and a back, and you're going to tie on the corner with the right side facing you, and you're going to do a row of half double crochet and also on the other side all the way down the row of half double crochet with color B. Once you have that finished, you're going to take the darker color, you're going to fold your ribbon in half, And right in the middle, you're going to tie a double knot to secure it and kind of crimp in the middle of the bow. A lot of the bow tutorials that you see on YouTube, you kind of make a ring and you tie them together in the middle. It looks like a bracelet. But because this has that lasagna effect, if we do that, the bow will pop way too high. So this is why we didn't do it in the round. We just did a single strip, and we're going to tuck those in later. But right now you want to start wrapping with the darker color around the middle. When you're done wrapping, you're going to take your yarn and needle, and you're going to tuck the yarn behind the back. That'll secure it. And now we have to do the lighter color on the outside so it's consistent with the rest of the ribbon. You can take your tail and just thread it down the middle of the ribbon to hide that. Then you're going to go through the middle of the back and you're going to take color B and you're going to start wrapping a little bit on top of the dark green, and you're going to make a wrap on the outside on both sides of the green. This way it looks like the same consistent color pattern on both sides, what's tying your bow together. After you have the crimp in the bow the way you like it to look, then you can turn it over and you can sew in those tails through the back and down the middle, and then there you have the bow is finished. You're going to fold those over, but you don't want to go under where the crimp is. And you can just hot glue gun those in place, or you could sew them in place. But that's how you make your bow. And then you would hot glue gun it or sew it right on top of the little cube. And after you have hot glue gun everything in place, this is what it looks like. You don't want to go too crazy with the hot glue gun. Little dabs is all that it takes. And this is the finished project. If you're making these a Christmas tree ornament, tie on the corner, whether you're using a hook or a piece of string. It helps it face forward, and that's the best way to present it on a Christmas tree. You could also use these as a tabletop display. Either way, they're nice little holiday decorations. Quick note, the ribbon for the small boxes, the ribbon around the body is just 3 chains, and then you tack them next to each other, and the bow is made with single crochet, not half double crochet. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial, please hit that like button. I try to keep it as short and as simple as possible. If you make these, please tag me on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or you can @ me on YouTube. I love to see your finished work. Please consider subscribing, and happy holidays.